Okay, let's go on to the Week 7 starts for the wide receiver position. We'll start with I just talked about him right now, but we got Michael Pittman Jr., the second-year receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. You got Paris Campbell, just season-ending injury or season-ending surgery recent. I think like 2 days ago. T.Y. Hilton's back, but I think Michael Pittman is still the 1A there on the Colts.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even T.Y. Hilton's a little banged up. They're saying that he's kind of questionable to play. So, I mean, if T.Y. Hilton's out, then, I mean, that only boosts the value of Michael Pittman. I do like T.Y. Hilton, too, if he plays in this game. But, after a slow week 1, Michael Pittman Jr., who I know me and you, Mike, we're pretty big fans of him, especially, last year coming out of USC, his second year. But, after the week 1, he had a slow start. But after that, he had 12 targets, 8 targets, and 7 targets. He only gets you 3 targets the last week. A little disappointing. But, I mean, they were blowing out the –
Well, that's what I'm saying is, like, people don't throw against the Texans. We realize that.
Yeah, so they were blowing them out. So they didn't need to utilize him. So this game against the 49ers, I think, will be a lot more competitive, and they're going to need to utilize Michael Pittman. Like you said, Campbell's out. T.Y. Hilton's banged up. And, just to think of how highly the Colts organization thinks of Michael Pittman Jr. is they drafted Michael Pittman Jr. above Jonathan Taylor. So in the second round 2 years ago. So when they got on the clock, second round, it was either Jonathan Taylor or Michael Pittman Jr. They didn't want to lose the opportunity to draft Michael Pittman Jr. They were like, we can take the shot of losing on Jonathan Taylor, but we don't want to lose the opportunity to get Michael Pittman Jr. on our team. So they drafted him over Jonathan Taylor. So that should just show you how much they, as a franchise and in organization, how much they value him as a player for their offense. So, I love Michael Pittman Jr. in this one right here. If you can get him on the low, I know it's a little late. Maybe the trade won't go through, but, give me all the Michael Pittman Jr. Some player comps of him is like, he reminds me of like a Mike Evans. He reminds me of like a Vincent Jackson. If you've been playing fantasy for a while, you'll remember Vincent Jackson, throwback Charger and Tampa Bay Buccaneer. But, just a big guy, and, his dad's been in the league, so his dad's mentoring him on how to be a pro, you would think. So, I just love Michael Pittman Jr., and I think he's only going to get better. I think he's barely scratching the surface of what he can be in this league.
Yeah. Sup, Kane? Here's the thing. If you download the Underdog Fantasy app right now and use promo code AVG, you get a free $10 added onto your deposit right now. Use promo code AVG. Links down below. Now back to your video.
I like it. Michael Pittman Jr.
Fucking send it in.
Let's go on to Week 7 starts. We got Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard is possibly going to be out. We had this in here. We were debating whether or not to put it in, take it out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so Shepard came back last week, had a good game. He did get banged up in practice, because he had the hamstring injury. So they said he kind of tweaked it or re-aggravated it this practice. So he's questionable. But, I mean, these targets that he's been getting, 9 targets, 10 targets. And then he gets hurt in week 3, misses a couple games with the hamstring. Then last week, 14 targets. It's just like there's no Kadarius Toney. There's no Kenny Golladay. Evan Ingram's banged up. And I don't know what it is, but Evan Ingram just is not a thing. I don't know, good football player, but I don't know. He's just not a good fantasy football player for whatever reason. But if Sterling Shepard is good to go, this is just something you have to monitor. Like, make sure you're paying attention to it. If he's good to go or not. Is he going to be limited? Who knows? We'll try to keep you guys updated on that on the Instagram and stuff like that. So just follow us on there for updates. But if Sterling Shepard plays, I'm getting him into my lineup because these targets are just ridiculous. And like I said, the lack of pass catchers there. No Saquon Barkley. He's out again. Give me all the Sterling Shepard if he plays. But you have to monitor that and make sure if he plays or not.
Which is a hard one because it's Sunday night too. Yeah. So, but I like it too. I mean, all those guys out. Sucks Kadarius Toney's out.
Yeah.
But
if you have, this is kind of foreshadowing into one of our sleepers, but if you have Sterling Shepard and, you're debating on starting him or not, see if Darius Slayton's out there, because if you're going to wait, is this a Sunday night game? I didn't.
Yeah, it is a Sunday night game, yeah.
So yeah, if you're holding on to Sterling Shepard, it's a Sunday night game. See if Darius Slayton's out there, because if Sterling Shepard's out, foreshadowing, maybe Darius Slayton's a sleeper.
Darius Slayton. Yeah, Sunday night. Okay, let's go on to week 7 start. We got Hunter Renfrow. This guy is a PPR guy for the Las Vegas Raiders. This wide receiver is nice. Is it Derek Carr's nephew or something?
I don't know. But yeah, I love Hunter Renfrow, especially in PPR leagues. I mean, he's had, double-digit PPR points in every single game except for last week, so that's 5 out of the 6 weeks. Last week he has a bad game against the Denver Broncos. I mean, but the Denver Broncos have a good secondary. They've got some good corners. They've got some good safeties. So, but I mean, prior to that, in the first 5 games, he had 5 or 6 catches every single game. I think he gets back on track, especially the Eagles. Darius Slay has been playing really good for them on the outside, so he should limit whoever he's going against, whether it's Bryan Edwards, Henry Ruggs. It'll probably be Bryan Edwards most likely. So he's probably going to limit those guys. And, obviously Darren Waller's going to get his. But I would say that Hunter Renfrow would most likely, in my opinion, in this game, be the second option in the passing game behind Darren Waller. So, yeah, I think, I'm just going to go with the trend of, double-digit PPR points in the first 5 weeks. Like I said, last week, a down game. But I think he bounces back this week and gets you another 10-plus PPR points. So, a guy who doesn't have the craziest ceiling, he's not going to get you a 20 burger, but, if you're just like, hey, I just need a guy who's going to give me 10 points this week, 10, 12 points, who's not going to bust for me, Hunter Renfrow's that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like safe floor guy.
Yeah.
You got to have some of those every once in a while.
I like having those guys sometimes where you're just like, okay, dude, you have your guys, you have your studs. You have your studs who are going to come out there and, put up points.
Yeah, you have your Michael Marquinhos.
Yeah, you have your Michael Marquinhos. Look at that jawline. And then you have those guys where you're just like, hey, dude, just get me 10-plus points. Like, that's all I need to do is just give me 10-plus points. Just don't give me a dud. And that's, like, your role in this offense, or your role in my fantasy team, I guess. And that's what Hunter Renfrow is. So
and your fantasy offense.
Yeah, your fantasy offense. So.
Okay, let's go on to our sit for the wide receiver positions. First off, we got Corey Davis. Is this, you put this in here, is this because Bill Belichick is just going to absolutely destroy Zach Wilson?
I mean, it's just one thing that Bill Belichick's been really good at throughout his career is he really just focuses on the best weapon of the opposing offense. And, I mean, arguably you could say it's Corey Davis. I'm not worried about these running backs. Elijah Mitchell's a talented rookie. Jameson Crowder, savvy veteran. But, Corey Davis is the big free agent acquisition that they threw the bag at. They paid that guy a lot of money to come there. So, and the first time they played against the Patriots, I think it was back in week 2 in New York, he had 5 targets for just 2 catches, only 8 yards. So Bill Belichick and that defense did their job of limiting him. I'm not expecting, the Jets are coming off a bye, so extra time to prepare, but I'm still gonna go with the mad scientist with the hoodie over there, Bill Belichick, to shut down Corey Davis over there. And Zach Wilson just had a terrible game. He was 19 for 33, only 210 passing yards, 0 touchdowns. He had 4 interceptions. So, Corey Davis, talented wide receiver. He was the number 1 wide receiver off the board a couple years ago when he was drafted by the Tennessee Titans. So does he have the opportunity to come out and have a good game? Definitely. I mean, could he come out and catch, even if he gets you like 3 for 38 and a touchdown, you'd be happy with that. That'd be a solid game, especially with all the buys this week. I have to start Corey Davis in a league because I have Stephon Diggs and CeeDee Lamb both out, and it's just like I'm just strapped.
Yeah, I'm in one.
I'm just strapped for any. I just need bodies at this point, and so I'm starting him. But I'm not expecting much. I don't think the upside's there. So yeah, I just don't like this opportunity, especially with the Patriots at home. If I'm the Patriots, I'm just doubling Corey Davis the whole time. It's like, hey, Zach Wilson, beat me with these other guys, and and let's see if you can do it. And I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, me neither.
What I'm saying.
I like it.
Very good. Corey Davis, sit him week 7. Now we're going on to the next one. We got Tyler Boyd, the Cincinnati Bengals, going up against the Baltimore Ravens. We talked about don't start Joe Burrow in this one. Let's keep it going, and we'll say don't start Tyler Boyd.
I mean, yeah, it's just tough. You know, if I at least don't like Burrow, I don't know how you feel about Burrow.
Yeah, I'm with you against the Ravens. I mean, I do think it's going to be a closer game than I think 8.5 points.
8.5, yeah. Give me the Bengals
it opened
plus
at
8.5, yeah.
it opened at 6.5. It went up to so everybody's on the Ravens, betting the Ravens. So it's like it goes to 8.5. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a closer game than that. But like I can't imagine Joe Burrow being able to spread the ball far enough to all of these receivers and get everything done. So.
I mean, yeah, he would just have to light it up to support 3 guys out there. You know, obviously you're starting Jamar Chase because he's just been in fuego. He's been hot like Hansel, as we say. And, you know, Higgins, you know, I think this is a great buy low opportunity on T. Higgins because I think going forward you're only going to see better games from T. Higgins. So, and, you know, even if he has a bad game this week, T. Higgins, yeah, definitely a great buy low opportunity. But, you know, there's been 4 games where all 3 wide receivers have played, and Tyler Boyd has been 3rd in targets in
every time,
3 of the 4 games.
Yeah, because
so
we've
75% of the time he's the 3rd option in the passing game here for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Because I was going to say, we've said to start Tyler Boyd in the past, but it was just because you had injuries at the other positions. So, you know, these last man standing kind of thing.
Yeah, we said start Tyler Boyd a couple weeks ago. Higgins was out.
Yeah.
You know, and he came out and he had like that crazy game. I think he had like 9 catches. I can't remember. 9 catches, 80 yards or whatever, touchdown. So
who was that? Was that mine?
It might have been yours, dude. Yeah, you're just trying to take all the credit, dude.
I was like, oh, say less.
Let's go on.
Hey, did you like that video? No, not the one of Big Ben completely eating shit when nobody even touched him. I'm talking about our fantasy football video we just did. You just watched. Well, guess what? That was just a clip from the full audio podcast. So if you want to check out the whole thing, links down below. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, all of them. Anywhere you can get audio podcasts, we're there. Go ahead and check it out. And if you don't want to look at your fantasy team to look the way Big Ben does right here, wait for it. Come on, replay. This is your fantasy team.
But that won't be your fantasy team if you subscribe to AVG Fantasy Football. So go ahead, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to the channel and like.